America's Army has been a huge success, and since its launch, the game has been downloaded more than 7 million times. In the 2 years following the game's release, the Army met its recruitment goals.
America's Army is the most cost-effective outreach they've ever done in history, full stop.
The influence of computer games is now spreading from recruitment to training. The Pentagon is placing computer game simulations at the core of its battle plans, and the Army is now the single biggest partner of the commercial games industry in the country.
So if we have an environment, let's say that we wanted an object to look like it was photographed in Fallujah, we go in and capture the lighting in Fallujah, okay, which has very specific characteristics. There'll be a certain amount of aerial haze, there'll be a certain kind of character to the light at a particular time of day, etc.
We are, particularly in America today, we are a very militaristic society. We take for granted that there are going to be major military conflicts in the world and we're going to be involved in them. Video games are just a part of that cultural manifestation of being a military society.
1720.
The Army has opened a massive high-tech training studio at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. They're using game technology, virtual reality, and sophisticated simulations of the Middle East to prepare the digital generation for war. The Army believes that this kind of training works because almost every soldier who joins is a gamer.
Engagement successful, target destroyed.
The games are part of an effort to gain the upper hand in an era of ever-shifting battle conditions. Many of the soldiers heading off to fight have never been outside the United States. The idea is to allow the soldier to get a dry run on the reality that awaits them.
If I can put him into an environment where he actually knows what to expect, then I have an edge up on the enemy that is immeasurable, that's invaluable.
This is a hostile area.
But this approach has its critics. Not everyone is convinced computer games can prepare young people for the reality of guerrilla warfare.
You know, when a number of people said that modern war is virtual, that the first Gulf War was like a Nintendo game, you know, in the sense that people pushed buttons and fired things at each other, but they never saw each other. And that's one reason why the horror of terrorism hits the military so greatly, is it's in your face, it's brute, it's not distance. People blow themselves up to get at you. That's so different from a world where you're just hitting, where the enemy is a blip on the screen.
The United States Army has thrown its full weight behind computer games as a way to attract and train the next generation of soldiers. It is an idea that is gaining strength in other parts of the world. Syria is a dictatorship that has had one-party rule since 1970. Anti-American sentiment is intense and widespread. Like all dictatorships, Syria fears the spread of information. 10 years ago, you needed a security clearance to own a fax machine. Now, it's struggling to control the impact of a wired world. The influence of pirated Western computer games is a looming threat. Their exploding popularity has the regime watching with apprehension. As more young people are drawn to Western games, there is concern about their impact on young Muslim minds. In almost every military-themed game, Arabs are the enemy. In the eyes of Syrian nationalists, Arab kids are being trained to kill their own people.
They are playing games like that regardless the mission. Maybe the mission, bombard your own house or your own town.
The Americans make the games. They get you to have fun while you are killing Arabs.
They expect us to entertain ourselves with these games. They show us how to kill Arabs and say, go ahead, have fun. Killing Arabs is not fun. On the contrary, it makes one get really mad. Why are they killing us? Why is it not that we are killing them?
We are losers, and look, they are showing us losing every day. We are losing all over the world.
Radwan Kazmia is a Syrian game developer with an agenda. With the full backing of the government, he has set up a company to produce games designed to incite the passions of the young men of the Arab world. As the backdrop for his first game, Kazmia selects one of the most incendiary events in recent memory, the Hebron massacre of 1994. A fanatical Israeli settler named Baruch Goldstein took an automatic weapon into a mosque in the city of Hebron. The game always launches with a frightening depiction of Goldstein in the moments leading up to the massacre. He killed 29 worshippers and injured 125. In the wake of the bloodbath, dozens more Palestinians were killed as the Israeli army attempted to quash the riots. The game is called Under Siege. The player assumes the role of a young Palestinian caught up in the aftermath of the massacre. His goal is to kill Israeli soldiers. Under Siege depicts the Israeli military as a force of brutality and terror. The effort to reach the gamer generation in the Middle East has a particular urgency. 70% of the population is under the age of 25. The size of the youth bubble has caught the attention of the old-style Arab media. In 2005, one of the biggest book publishers in the Middle East, Dar al-Fakr, made a deal with Radwan's company to distribute Under Siege throughout the region. Dar al-Fakr has deep roots in the regime, and it recognizes the role that games are playing in the lives of young Arabs.
The trend is toward games because they give the youth things that books cannot offer. Computer games present color, motion, 3 dimensions that are tempting and that facilitate the acquisition of knowledge. The young man deeply interacts with the game and will practice the knowledge he is getting from the game firsthand. So here, he is not merely a recipient, rather he is an active participant.
The game puts you in the thick of it. It immerses you in the scene of war and in the midst of helping Palestinians. So for sure the experience I gained is more than I would have reading a book.
With the aggressive marketing of Dar al-Fakr behind him, Radwan sold over 100,000 copies of Under Siege throughout the Middle East. The financial success allows Radwan to develop new games for his market.
So when we present Under Siege for them, well, that's a game that's speaking our voice, that's speaking our minds, and this is what's called digital dignity. They play with it, they are proud of it.
I like the game because it motivates us. It motivates all Arabs to free Palestine, to unite together and liberate Palestine. All Arabs should play this game. The game makes us feel that we are there and we are the ones shooting at the Israelis and killing them.
The most joy I get is the sparkling eyes of these kids when they see our work. It's the most rewards I can ever get. You know, when they see your work, you got your prize.
Games like Under Siege use violence as a way of promoting an agenda. But in many computer games, the violence is an end in itself.